Alright, good morning folks. Happy Monday to you. Welcome to today's Microsoft Flight Simulator live stream. We are back in the Junkers 52 3M. Matter of fact, I gotta change the livery. I almost forgot. We are departing from runway 22 left here at JFK in New York. Right here. Then we're going to make a slight turn. We're going to follow this all the way down to this nav point, this vortac right there, OOD. And then we're going to come across here to our first fixed point, which is cruise. And then we're going to turn here. We're going to go through Maudi, right there, and then on through Mini. It should be right back there. That should be it right there. And then our final one is JFK. Now the problem is, okay, if we follow this line all the way to our airport, to our destination runway here, runway 19, we're not going to be able to make the landing. So from JFK right here, we're going to have to make a slight left and then follow the Potomac down. We're going to cross these three bridges right here. 1, 2, 3. These three right here. And then we're going to turn from here. We should be turning into runway 19 for our landing. Okay. It's going to be a bit tricky, but I think we'll be okay. But that's the only approach that kind of made sense coming into, and this is the longest runway, of course, so we've got a little bit of room to play with if we need it, you know. So that's what we got going on today. And this is our localizer that we're going to turn into. It's an offset. So if we follow this, we'll intercept that localizer, right? This flight path. It's offset by, hey Ryan, how are you? It's offset by, where was it? 30, where did I see it? Offset localizer. It says the offset, like how far offset it is. 37.5 degrees. Off of our approach. So it's going to be a visual approach, but we'll tune in there just so that we don't miss our airport. If we need it, we'll have that dialed in. But we're going to have to kind of basically skirt the edge of the Potomac coming down this way. Make sure we don't drop too low, but we need to be low enough to line up right there. And our final heading is going to be No, it's going to be what did I say it was on the thing? Final heading of 187 degrees, I believe is the final. I'm good, thanks, Ryan. So I'm just going to wait to see if anybody's going to join or want an invite. I think Patrice is on, but I'm not sure if he's flying with us today or not. So we'll give it another minute, and then I'm going to pop in here, and then we'll... But yeah, it should be a nice flight. It says about 2 hours and 41 minutes. This leg is supposed to be just about an hour, and then this other long leg is about an hour. But I think we're going to get there much quicker. Yeah, it's okay. No worries, Ryan. It's all right. So yeah, we'll wait another minute or two just to make sure everybody's got the information, and then I'm gonna pop in. We'll put a little gas on the tank just to make sure we got enough to get there, and then we'll get in the air. So yeah. Okay, well that's fine, Ryan. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, it's probably be, it's always, Mondays are always one of those days. I just never know how many people are going to pop into the chat or whatever. So it's fine. No worries at all. Do what you got to do, man. All right. All right, I think I'm just gonna. I'll wait a few more minutes just because I'm not gonna have to do the startup because I was thinking about it last night. I was gonna do, traditionally what would happen is I would pop into a parking spot and start the plane up and taxi. The startup on this is a bit long. It takes a bit of time, so yeah, it's just easier for me to do the spawn in near our departure runway. So. That's not anybody I recognize. So I'm just waiting. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine, Ryan. That's all good. Like I said, Mondays it's hit and miss. I never know when it's going to be a little bit busy, when it's going to be dead quiet. Just never know. Ooh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was talking, but I was muted. That's because I took a sip of coffee while I was waiting for to see if anybody was going to join. So yeah, tomorrow or Wednesday we'll go from here from Washington National. 2837. Seven. All right, so yeah, there we go. All right, let's go ahead and get here and go ahead and put a little bit more gas in the tank. just to be on the safe side. That should be enough. And then let's get our altimeters set. And let's get our hey, Mick, how are you, good sir? Oh, now it's going to start. Now it wants to start acting up. Anyway. All right, let's see. What was our frequency? It was 112.80. All right. Long time no see, Mick. Well, I saw you briefly in Chris's stream the other day. Alright, so we are set to go. We'll wait to see if anybody's going to join. If not, we will get in the air expeditiously and forthwith, like we always like to do. Let's see. 224 is our current runway heading. I think I missed Para's stream yesterday because we were trying to get the we got the raid done. It took a little bit of time. I think it took us about 3 hours to do the raid yesterday. In, the Division 2. Okay, and then once we take off, we're going on a heading of 243. Okay. So yeah, I missed his stream yesterday. Somebody's trying to do a Concorde flight. Okay, that's all working. So we'll just wait a few more minutes, and then we're gonna get in the air. No. I know Patrice is online, but I don't know if he's wanting to join or not. If not, that's quite all right. So yeah, did that yesterday. Got a couple people through. I think there was at least one person who got through for the first time. So that was good. Yeah. Did I put the... Did put it on, right? Yep, okay. Well, I still got time, Mick. It's still like another couple weeks away. I've got time, you know, I got to get through this week and then next week, but by the weekend, not this coming weekend, but the following weekend, that Saturday, I'm just gonna have everything ready. There's a few things I'm gonna get done, you know. I just want to check things over. All right, now it's starting to buffer again. What is going on today? Okay, but yeah, otherwise I'm good. So yeah, it's all good. All right, I think we're just gonna go ahead and go, folks. All right, let me start the stopwatch. All right, let's go. Boy, that didn't take long to get in the air. I love it. Don't tell me I didn't put the... Yeah, okay. Ooh. We were almost going to stall there. Right, that was going to go. Let's go ahead and get this to 243. Wait a minute, why would it go? Okay. Well, I think I went the wrong way. That's okay. I'll catch back up here. Well, I'm taking it's a roller bag because I want to bring my tripod for my camera. Not that I think I'm going to need it, but just in case, I'd rather have it and not need it, and need it and not have it, kind of thing. And then just to carry, you know, like a backpack for my other stuff. But no, I don't have a duffel bag like I don't have an old army duffel bag. I used to, and I don't know what happened to it, but yeah, I don't have a, and that's okay, because it's not like something like, if you're just getting out the military, it's pretty handy to have one, right? But not any not for like practical use, you know, like if you're like changing duty stations or something like that, then it helps to have one. But other than that, no, it's not a very practical bag to use. Suitcases, I haven't used a suitcase in ages. I just usually get one of them roller bags. It's like a roller duffel, and that seems to work out best, because I can, if I travel and I want my tripod with me for photography, it's easily fits in there, not a problem at all. So yeah, that's the plan. Away we go. Surprisingly, we haven't picked up the signal yet. I mean, it's not like it's... I would have figured that vortex for the area would be a little bit more powerful, but apparently it's not. Oh, let me do a couple shout outs while we're here. It should work, I think. Or does it? Oh, I know what it is. I forgot. Should be that, right? Hold on a second. It's been a while since I've done these, so. Oh, there it is. There we go. Let's make sure we have any surprise visitors. I think so. So. There's the one from here. Guessing Addie's must be at the go-kart place. I know I briefly looked on my phone this morning when I woke up and I noticed he was streaming something, so I don't know, maybe he went to the go-kart place this morning or something, or this afternoon, I don't know. Let's see what else is going on. So yeah, nothing tomorrow. Wednesday we'll be back in the Junkers 52, going from Washington, Ronald Reagan Washington National down to Wallops Flight Facility. That should be a nice little flight. And then next Monday we'll go from Wallops down to where the Wright brothers first flew. We'll land at the airport right near where there's a monument, and then Wednesday we go from there. Can't remember our next destination after that. Thursday we'll be starting our first leg of the flight down the Route 66. We'll do our first leg, taking off from Chicago, and then Friday it's general aviation. If you want to pick a plane you want me to fly, then we'll do that. No airliners. So don't. When I say general aviation, I'm talking about all props, whether it's a turboprop or whatever. You can ask me to fly the P-38 Lightning or the Spitfire, but no jetliners. No jetliners. We're going to steer clear of the jetliners for right now. But if nobody picks, I have a route kind of already planned if necessary, if need be. So but you know, if there's a plane that you have that I might also have, then I'd be happy to fly it. If you want to fly along with me as well, that's perfectly fine. And then nothing Saturday or Sunday, so just only 4 streams. And then I don't think I'll stream. I might stream on the 12th, but I'm not sure. We'll see. I might do one there. It'll be another part of the Junkers flight. After we wrap up the trip along Route 66, I'm thinking about, it's not set in stone, so don't get all excited or bummed, whichever way you want to look at it. But our next thing that we may do is a tour of Africa in the Twin Beach. So I think it's got pretty good range. The problem is, in a lot of the areas, it's quite a distance between airports, or the airports are pretty small. So I'm just trying to figure out what might be the best option, because it's an area. I mean, we've kind of flown through parts of it before in the past, but I'd like to do a tour, kind of like what we're doing with this. We'll start around the perimeter, I guess, the coastline, go from North Africa down along the coast to South Africa and back up, and then kind of go everywhere in between whenever possible. Um, so we may do that. And yeah, that should be interesting. But again, I'm trying to keep the streams to a certain time frame, so that way I'm not overwhelmed, or I'm not burned out, with a lot of flying. And, once I'm back from vacation, I'm going to think about it, what the plan is going to be for October and going forward. I might only stream 4 days a week still. It may go to 5. I don't know yet. I'm still trying to figure that one out. Let's recognize any of the names. Although there's a bunch of names overlaid back there, so I don't think we have any guess. Yeah, it may go to 5, but it may just stay at 4 for the foreseeable future. I think 7 days a week, it was a lot, and I was spending a lot of time trying to come up with flight plans and everything, try to do some interesting stuff, and it just was like, so. But the server will always be on. I'm not gonna beg for people to fly with me. If you can, you're more than welcome to. If you can't, it's perfectly fine. I was hoping we would have a pretty decent group, flying. But I think part of the problem is I picked a rotten time to do my stream. But it's the only one that works for me, because otherwise, if I stream in the afternoon, then I'm, other people are streaming at the same time, so it's like they wouldn't be able to join me then either. So yeah, if people are able to, they're more than welcome. If not, it's perfectly fine. And of course, I didn't expect, a lot of people took vacation time finally for the first time in a couple years. They had people visiting for the first time in a couple years as well. So it kind of, whatever plans they may have had suddenly changed because of that. So, all right, we've been on this track for about 15 minutes, so we still got quite a ways to go. So yeah, but we'll keep flying, and like I said, people are more than welcome to join whenever they can. If they can't, it is what it is. So yeah, there might be Africa in the Twin Beach. Trying to think what other. Yeah, I might do Africa first, and then we might do maybe Northern Europe. Not like Germany, but like Norway, places like that. Yeah, because I think everybody got used to the summer break under lockdown, I guess, for lack of a better term. So, you weren't able to really go anywhere. You didn't have anybody able to come over and visit. So, yeah, it kind of, but it's good that people are able to do that now. But, yeah, I think it's just, my timing was bad, it seems. Well, let me get a picture here real quick before I forget. And I think too, hopefully, fingers crossed, that when the November, the big to do in November happens, hopefully it brings a lot of people back. Possibly, I don't know. Um, yeah, it'd be nice to have more people as we'll get more. Oh, there we go. We're finally getting the signal. Um, there'll be more stuff, that we're getting for free. I can't wait for. I'm really looking forward to the DC3. That one we may do like a tour of. Actually, maybe that one we'll do in Canada. We'll do Canada. Ooh, that might be a good one. Yeah. We've been to Canada a little bit, but I like to go from one side to the other and back. Kind of do a tour of Canada. So, yeah, that might be the plan later on. And that's hopefully if there's no other delays or anything, that everything goes according to plan in November. Still no update on the status of Sim Update 10. It's, still being. I think people are still working on the beta as far as testers go. All the folks are trying to provide as much feedback to SO and Microsoft on the necessary fixes for that. So still no time frame has been discussed, but it was at least a 2-week delay. So we're now coming to week 1. Tomorrow will be week 1. So maybe it'll be next week. If it does get released next week sometime, I hope kind of that it's released before I go on my vacation. That way I can test a few things before I go. But it might be that the streams, if it's released next week or whatever, the streams might be canceled until the 3rd of October, I think it is, or something like that. So, but we'll see. But I'm going to try, while I'm on the train, I'm going to try to come up with some different plans, some different places to visit, going down the East Coast. So we're going to go all the way down. I think we're going to go all the way to the Florida Keys and then back up the west coast of Florida, and then along the Panhandle, and across the Gulf of Mexico, up the west coast. Now my intent is to try to go to land at airports, or especially land at airports that we've not visited previously. But in the case of California, for instance, we visited quite a few of those already, but that's okay. So there's going to be some that we're going to land because it's just the sensible place to land. Like we're going to probably land at SFO, maybe Oakland. I don't know. It's going to be one of those two when we get to San Francisco. track here. 21 minutes on this route, on this leg. So there's no, the difficult thing about this is going to be that, let's see, our VOR, our VORTAC is not near an airport. It's like not sitting right next to an airport or anything. But, however, comma box for effect. To our, once we get there, to our right will be Wilmington, Newcastle, the airport in Wilmington, Wilmington, Delaware. So that's probably going to be, if we can see it, that's going to be our sort of what do you call it? Our landmark. So we'll be close enough that we'll probably have to contact Wilmington approach. So if we talk to them, we know we're. All right, there's an airport there. Track again here. So yeah, if it does come out before I go on vacation, I might cancel the streams just to have a little bit of time to check over things, see what works and what doesn't, especially general aviation related stuff. Make sure that planes still start up and stuff like that. But I'll post in the Discord if I cancel things till the first week of October. Hello, Amela. How are you? Nice to see you here. Happy Monday to you. We're really getting pushed off course here. Oh, before you ask, Camilla, I had chicken nuggets for dinner last night. I had a kind of a late dinner because it took, I think we finally wrapped up our raid on the Division 2 at about 6:30 or so last night. And then I was like looking at the time, I got to eat something, so I just put like 10 nuggets in the oven, made those real quick for dinner. I needed to eat something, but I didn't want it to be like something heavy. So that was dinner last night. Might make some more for lunch today, I don't know yet. I'm good. Yeah. Can't believe August is already coming to an end. Man, where's the year gone already? Um, yeah, it's just been. Seems like the time's gone by very quickly this year. I don't know why. But yeah, we'll be back. Be back Wednesday, same time, 7:10 Eastern, 11:10 UTC, 12:10 UK. In the Eucharist 52, second leg two, Reagan National down to Wallops Flight Facility. This is an airport that I saw. I'm like, oh, this seems like it would be fun to fly into. So we're going to go there. And then next Monday, Wallops to I wrote it down. Hold on a second. See, I can't now. My memory is failing me. Jeez, Louise. Wallops to. It's called First Flight. Is the name of the airfield near Kitty Hawk. Yeah. That won't be too long of a flight on next Monday. I don't think Wednesday's flight will be too long either. But that's so it'd be kind of neat to go somewhere historic like Kitty Hawk, and if we can, what we may do is we may fly over the Wright brothers, the monument. So we'll see if we can do that. So what we may do is kind of come in from a different angle and fly over the airstrip, and then go right over the monument area there, and then come in for landing. We'll see. Yeah, let's see, almost 30 minutes here on this leg. So yeah, think about Friday, folks. Before we start, I won't have a flight plan. Oh, I have one set aside if nobody wants to pick a plane. But we'll new motor coming on. Oh, new monitor. I almost said new motor. What? New monitor coming on. Nice. So yeah, we'll. So Friday, yeah. Think about that, but I have something already planned if nobody picks anything. Trying to have a backup plan just on the off chance that people are too nervous to say, oh, can you fly this? But just remember, no airliners. No, I shouldn't say no airliners. No jetliners. No jet. No, like, A320s, 737s, A321s, 747s, 787s. So yeah, remember that. No long haul. You pick the plane. I'll find a decent little flight plan. we've been talking to McGuire approach like forever. almost 32 minutes. We watched Top Gun Maverick yesterday evening as I was having my chicken nuggets and decompressing from the raid. There's some little things that I noticed that I didn't pick up on the first time. Not that I will tell them because I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, just some other observations. But once enough people have seen it, like there was like that whole period of time with was it the last Avengers movie that people were like, don't spoil it, and it's like it's been out for almost like a year, and everybody's like, still don't spoil it. I haven't seen it yet. Like, by a year, if you haven't seen it, sorry, but we're gonna talk about it. So yeah, maybe by the end of the year, even if people still haven't seen it, we might discuss it further. I will say there's the one observation I will make is that there's a distinct there's two, well actually there's three, no there's two for sure, there might be a third, different leadership styles that are portrayed in the movie. That when I watched it the other night, that's when I picked up on it, a little bit more the second time around. It's kind of like if you watch Band of Brothers first all the way through and you don't really pay attention to the characters, although it became apparent after the fact that some of the characters, their style was dramatized. Maybe a little bit more than how that person was in real life. But I think that just added to the drama of the show, the story. But yeah, it was. Yeah, there's definitely a couple then they are conflicting leadership styles in Top Gun Maverick, which I think, quite honestly, they that's one of the things I think they got right as far as modern military leadership goes. I gotta take my vitamins here in a second, folks, so we get back online here. We're getting pushed to a little bit to the left. Mr. Addies, hello. There we go. All right. Yeah, so I mean, I think that's just something that's true of the military, even in this day and age, is there's always those conflicting sorts of styles. And then it almost seems like, okay, which style is going to become the dominant one? Which style are the soldier is going to be more, I don't want to say drawn to, but more apt to follow. I'm fine, Joseph. Thank you. How are you? Yeah, the leader that they're most likely to follow into combat. That's the one that, you know, as I've said it before, there's types of leaders that people will do the bare minimum. They won't go above and beyond. They won't go out of their way to do extra or work extra hard. They'll do just enough to get through the day. And that's definitely not the kind of people you want working for you, but how much of that lies with the leader. Hold on a second. Still too early on a Monday morning for that crap. That's why I can't wait for winter. I can't ride. It'd be quiet again. But yeah, I still enjoy the movie. I do think that Jennifer Connelly is a good fit for the movie, because I don't think Kelly McGillis, I don't know that she wanted any part of the movie. Alright, so we're near Philly. Okay, let me have a look at the charts. Philadelphia. Okay, I know where we're at roughly. So we're almost to our first nav point. I would say Jennifer Connelly has aged very well. I remember the first time I remember seeing her in the movie was The Rocketeer. Yeah, she is aged very well. I don't think Kelly McGillis aged so well, unfortunately. And I still think the Lady Gaga, no, nope. That, it's funny because the first movie's soundtrack was a very popular soundtrack for quite a long time. It was probably one of those first ones that people wanted to go out to the store and buy the soundtrack. I don't know. I would not spend any money on the soundtrack for Top Gun Maverick. No. Absolutely not. Okay, so there's that water there. Let's have another look at the chart. So Philadelphia International. I think we passed it, or we're pretty close to it. Place order. Yeah, when I found out that Lady Gaga was on the soundtrack this time, I was like, oh, I think they could have gotten somebody better, quite honestly. Anybody but her. Well, I wouldn't say anybody, but I think there was better choices. But yeah, we'll talk more about Top Gun Maverick in the months ahead. Bex, you need to hurry up and go see it. You know, it's like I think you can get it through just about any streaming service at this point. I think. I could be wrong, but I think you can. Okay. So we're 43 minutes. Mr. Addies, have you seen Top Gun Maverick yet? Oh, here's a better question. Who in the chat has seen Top Gun Maverick so far? I know Para has. Anybody else seen Top Gun Maverick yet? Oh, Mick, you got to see that too. Oh, speaking of aviation and stuff related, did you see the? I don't know if they launched it yet. Did you watch the launch of the rocket this morning? That's supposed to. It's like a test thing to eventually go back to the moon. I saw that briefly. They were still on the launch pad. It was like they probably are. It's probably already in the air if it didn't get scrubbed for today due to weather or something. I figured you've been watching that one, Mick, live on the tube of you. Yeah, it looked pretty impressive. It gave me it reminded me a lot of the shuttle launching system. You know, the orange tank in the middle and the two solid rocket boosters on the sides. It did remind me quite a bit of the shuttle launching stuff, the whole package there, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I saw that orange tank there in the middle. It did give me did remind me quite a bit of that. All right, let's have a look. See here. We are near a. There's a this small town. See, I don't see these areas of water here. Okay. Oops, we are getting off track again. Okay, I think we've flown over it. Yep. All right, it's behind us then. All right, so perfect. 46 minutes it took. All right. And then we need, okay, we're not dialing in anything. We need to go on a heading of 260. We're not going to dial in a... So yeah, the needle swung around there and pointed behind us, so we did fly over it. So we're... it's not too bad. It was very warm yesterday. It was a little bit nice in the morning, and then it really warmed up. I thought it was going to cool down last night, but it did not, for whatever reason. All right, so this next leg is probably going to be about similar in time because it's just a little bit longer than the one we just flew. It's kind of, yeah, it's kind of hazy out, but not like cloudy. It's just there's a little bit of haze in the air. But I don't know if we're supposed to get more rain or what's going to happen. All right, let me look at. All right, take care. Excuse me, take care, Mela. Have a good day. Thanks for stopping by. Our localizer. The one that we're going to 1099. We're going to go ahead and dial that in. So our next point, our fix, which is like 98 nautical miles away from us, or just under 98 nautical miles now. So we are looking for I see the Potomac. Okay. I have an idea of what we're going to be looking for here. Estimated time is 51 minutes on this leg. We've been going a little bit already. But, alright. So at least we have an idea of our estimated time for our turn. Our first fixed point. And then, like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to turn, once we get to this fixed point here, which is called Cruise, C-R-O-O-Z. So when we get to Cruise, we're going to turn and we're going to kind of follow down along the Potomac. And then once we get to JFK, we're going to have to turn a little bit off to the left and then follow the Potomac. And then we have to cross over 3 bridges and then turn right into runway 19. So it's going to be a bit of a... It's going to be a visual approach. There's no other way to do it. They don't have they didn't have a localizer at the other end of runway 19 to help us with our landing today. So that's okay. We're going to make it. We're going to do just fine. So thank you all for coming in today. hanging out. Got a bunch of lurkers I see. It's all right. So yeah, we'll be back Wednesday, 7:10 Eastern, 11:10 UTC, 12:10 UK. Leg 2 of our tour of America, the Junkers 52. So what we're going to do, my intent is, we're going to go down the East Coast, go down to the Florida Keys, back up along the Panhandle. We're basically going to do the coast areas of America first, and then we'll do state by state after that, and then we're gonna end. The intent is to end back up at JFK for our last flight. The flight along the, hold on a second, while we're just kind of cruising along here. I'm gonna just make sure we don't go too far off track. Let's see. Let's have a look see here. So that's multiple Route 66. There it is. So this one has a total of 14 legs. So that's 14 different Thursdays that we're going to work on that. So that's, a couple months. After that, we're going to do, I think the plan will be to do, we may do a tour of Africa in the Beechcraft, the Twin Beach, the Delta 18 Sierra. Because I think we'll have plenty of range to get from one point to another, or if we have to kind of break things up. But we'll try to find some interesting places to fly along the way. And then when the DC-3 comes out in November, fingers crossed that there's no delays on that, we'll do the plan will be eventually to do a flying tour, or maybe we'll flip-flop it. One Thursday will be Africa, the other Thursday we'll do a flying tour of Canada in the DC-3, I think. That will be our plan for going forward. But like I said, I may go back to streaming 5 days a week, possibly. Otherwise, it's going to stay at 4. I don't see any reason at this time to drop it to 3. But that's certainly something that's on the table if it comes down to it. If I need an extra bit of time off to do other things, and streaming 7 days a week was quite a lot. It was starting to wear me out. But we'll see. It's like somebody's going into Philly there. Possibly. Well, I forgot to do the Amela. I gotta do the one for Might have to change that. Might have to change that one to, oh, you guys behave. Matter of fact, I might do that. We're just cruising along. We need to be at about 3,000 feet by the time we get to our first fixed point. We still got quite a ways to go. We'll start descending here as we get a little bit closer. And we'll be on approach before we know it. So once we're at cruise, from there I probably am going to have to really focus on the landing part because we're doing a visual approach. So I will probably have to ignore the chat a little bit earlier than anticipated, so I can get the plane on the ground safely. Because the distance will go very quickly from there, going into our runway. So I have to pay attention so we don't lose too much altitude and then end up crashing into those bridges before we turn into our runway. So Mr. Addy's buggered off again. Alright, let's have a look-see here where we are. See if I can discern from my... Okay, I think we are near Baltimore. No. Yeah, I think we're getting near Baltimore. Let's see, there's this part. I think that's that part there. Or am I too far? Or am I still way up here? Okay, yep, I think I know where we are. So we are almost halfway there. All right. Yeah, I see this part on my sky vector chart. Yeah. In fact, yeah, I would think they would, Mick. Absolutely. Although it'll probably go, it'll go dark when it goes around the backside there. But yeah, it'd be kind of neat to see that for sure. But yeah, Okay, so we must be getting near, if they're already telling us about continuing as planned. So, right, we're going to start dropping some altitude here. Just a little bit. Just need to have a nice, lazy descent. We don't want to go too fast. Yeah, I would think they would have it at least through the takeoff and the stage separations and all that. It may show live maybe as they get closer to the moon, and then if they go around, the dark side there, that'll probably be when they lose the picture. That's when the aliens hop on board the aircraft, the spacecraft, and stow away, unbeknownst to NASA. Yeah, be interesting to see how this thing goes. I'm telling you, say whatever you will about Elon Musk, but the fact that he's gotten people interested in space exploration again, I think is an amazing thing. Because with SpaceX and everything that they're doing with NASA, it's certainly gotten people really fired up about being a part of that. Getting engineering degrees and all the maths. They do like their maths. Yeah, it's amazing. Because it's not like a taking stuff up to the International Space Station is kind of like it's kind of boring. You want to see like the when they bring the astronauts to the space station, that's pretty cool, I think. And I'm still amazed how the rocket lands on its own back on Earth. Yeah, absolutely. And it's a field that previously wasn't open to everybody, but now there's more opportunities. You know, you can play a part in this incredible journey. Um, you know, so yeah, it's absolutely amazing, I think, what they've been able to accomplish. All right, let's see. So let's have a look here. I think we're getting closer to Baltimore. There's Baltimore Martin and there's Baltimore Washington International. I think we got to go by Baltimore Martin first, which I believe isn't too far from where we are. Yeah, it's if I was a lot younger, I would totally want to get in on that action. But then again, math has never been my strongest subject at all. Like I think I would have to find another way to be a part of it, but yeah, it's math and engineering is not my strong suits. Yeah, exactly. Well, like I get the secrecy of it, because it was a space race between us and Russia during the Cold War. We didn't want to let anybody else know what we were up to. It was very hush hush. But yeah, now it's not so much a race as it is an opportunity to from for anybody really, from any walks of life, to, as long as you have the necessary um, educational background. You've got your degrees in engineering, whether it's electrical or mechanical or software, whatever, um, to be a part of that. Um, yeah, absolutely. It's an amazing opportunity, I think, for many people. All right, so let's see. We are. Yeah, it's nice to see people interested in, like, I once the shuttle program ended, I was just kind of like, okay, now what are we gonna do? You know, but you know, like when I visited um, Kennedy, the Space Center, SpaceX was just still in the process of finalizing their deal with NASA to lease the launch pads and to retrofit it. And that was 9 years ago? Yeah. Hey, Super Typhon, how are you? Nice to see you here. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. This lady, we might have trying to figure out roughly where. Trying to look for Baltimore Martin Airport. And I know we fly past Baltimore Martin, and then we fly just a little bit north of Baltimore Washington National, or International, I should say. Provided satire. Okay. Interesting name. So yeah, we're almost coming to the end, folks. Getting there. We'll be making our way here shortly. We know what to do. Lean the mixture a little bit, just I think we've got enough gas to get us there, enough fuel. Now all of a sudden it wants to climb. I don't know why. Must have gotten a gust of wind or something. Yeah, I watched most of Allison's and Captain Orish on Saturday. That was quite a nice flight. I watched it. I know I watched it from takeoff to. I think I watched a good portion of it. I think I watched it, if I remember correctly. I did see it all the way to the end when they landed. Uh, it was pretty cool stuff. I think I'm gonna miss the chance at the see if we can find the island that they were supposed to land on. As I might be on, I'll probably be on vacation when they do that. I was hoping to be a part of that. See if I can utilize some of the skills I've learned from Captain Arish to actually make it there. Yeah, Howland Island, that's it. You know, I think I'll be on vacation when they're doing that flight. Oh well. Arash. Yeah, yeah, my pronunciation of names needs work. Okay, let's have a look now. Where are we? We should see Baltimore International here shortly, I believe. I'm trying to keep an eye out for Baltimore Martin, which is the other. There's a lot of airports in this area. That almost looks like an airport, but that's not it. Yeah, like I was looking at some of the history. So Washington Reagan, Ronald Reagan National is it you there's only a couple flights that are international, but those flights have to go through an area where there's customs already available, and then they can go on to Washington National. Otherwise, there's no way for them to go through customs at Washington National. The main airport for that is Dulles International. But yeah, Washington National, Ronald Reagan is a lot of people say it's a fairly small airport for the area. But I always thought that Washington. I thought it was Washington International. All right, let's see. Okay, that's like a. It almost looks like it goes under the water there. Wow. Just notice that like there's tunnels or whatever. Okay, still looking for... Ooh, we are drifting way off course here. Alright, that looks like in here. Is it? See, I would think that we would be talking to... If that's Baltimore International... Yeah, I think that's Baltimore International right there. Let's have a look here. Okay, that looks like... Yep, I think that's Baltimore National right there. So I see 2 parallel runways and one that kind of... Yeah. Let's see here. I think that's it. There's one runway. Oh, okay, I see it now. Yep. 1, 2 runways. Yep, okay. Let's see here. So that meets there. And there's... Okay. Yep. All right. I see it now. All right. So there's Washington. That's Baltimore right there. Baltimore, Washington International. Oh, we're picking up our offset localizer from our destination. So we have, let's see. We're almost there, folks, to our first fix point. Yeah, now we need to start dropping some more altitude here. Yeah, come off the throttle. We want to descend, but we don't want to go super duper fast, so we just want to start dropping some more altitude here. If I had to venture a guess, I'd say where that group of nameplates right there, that might be our destination. All right. So that looks like if we follow the Potomac down, which should be up there in the distance in front of us, that should be Washington National Ronald Reagan Airport. So this will be on the replay tomorrow on YouTube for those of you who missed Most of the flight will be on my YouTube channel. I think if you type in, I think it shows. Yeah. Those of you who don't follow me on YouTube, if you want to watch the watch it all the way through, be available by tomorrow at noon. Try to keep the times as as steady as possible for the premiere on YouTube. A little bit of a little bumpy here. Right, so there's that. So we should be coming up to our turn. Should be the Potomac up there. So that looks like it will be it. We'll be on the ground before we know it. Wow. Really buffering now. Oh, well, it's buffering today. Yeah, maybe because everybody and their brother seems to be on the Puzzle Girl Sue. Thank you for the follow. I just saw that. Appreciate it. Welcome to the Uncle B Sim channel. We departed from JFK International, New York, and we're heading to Washington International Ronald Reagan Airport in the Junkers 52-3M, not the retrofit model, with the all the bells and whistles and bits and bobs, whatever you want to call it. We are starting to descend. We've been kind of descending, but we're getting ready. We're going to turn down the Potomac, follow that, and then we're going to come over across 3 bridges. So that's just a feature that I can identify. Then we're going to turn in on runway 19, and we'll be there. So once we reach that nav point, we'll why does that name sound familiar? Puzzle Girl Sue. Who? Nick, was that somebody that joined on your Twitch channel recently, I think? Nick, if you're still lurking in the chat. I kind of feel like that's somebody who joined on your channel recently. Or maybe it was Paris. The name sounds familiar. Okay, we're almost there. It's gotta be... Let's have a look here again. So we're going to turn just before we get to the Potomac. We're looking for the Potomac itself, and then we'll know roughly when to turn in. So we've on this leg about 40 minutes now, probably a little bit longer than that, since it took a while for the once we knew the needle was behind us, we knew that we'd flown past our vortac. Folks, coming up, once we hang a right, or I'm sorry, hang a left, we'll I will go into a time where I will keep my eyes off of the chat. Please do not spam the chat. I will catch up with the chat as soon as we're on the ground. Wow, it's really... I should have probably restarted, done like a hard reboot. Matter of fact, I think I may do that once the stream's concluded. Oh, somebody. Okay. Somebody messaged me on Discord. Okay. Good thing I put a little more fuel in the tank before we departed. I think we would have been, if I hadn't done that, we would have been really close to running out of fuel. So it's saying, let's see. Okay, that's got to be our airport there. So, pretty sure our turn point is coming up here. Matter of fact, it should be coming up right there. So we're going to turn on a heading of 149. That's our... Right, I see that. Let's have a look at this again. So then Washington Dulles should be almost to the front of us once we get to our cruise. There's that part, I think. Petersburg. Is there an airport? Okay, that's got to be Gaithersburg right there. I do believe. It looks like a little airport. Yep, that's got to be Gaithersburg. So we're almost there, folks. We're going to turn here in just a moment. Getting off course here. 48. So yeah, I think in let's see. So Washington Dulles should be be like very easy to spot. I'm guessing it's right where that A320 is. Is where Washington Dulles is. Put our landing lights on. Yeah, that's got to be Washington Dulles right there. So we are turning. Let me just look real quick. All right. So once we get to all right, I think we're just going to go ahead and turn down here on a heading of 148. So our needle's coming around, pointing in the direction we need it to point. Should be able to call in, I think, and tell them we're coming in. All right, folks, here we go. Ooh. That's interesting. Would not have taken us that... Interesting. So that is where it is. Well, you know what we're gonna do here, folks. Now we're climbing again. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to turn that off until we're on the ground. I think what we're gonna try to do is just follow our plan as best as possible. It is a visual approach. Hmm. It's another. Start buffering them. Oh, we're just gonna start on the approach, Mick. I turned off the little red, the glide path sort of thing. I'm just trying to see because there is a airport near. It's not like a major airport. It's College Park. But I was looking because I thought there was another airport much closer. There's one farther down from our. So I'm just trying to keep an eye on things, and then. Okay, so they're just somebody's flying in the F-35. Okay, that should be our airport right here, right there. Final heading of, what did I say it was? Final heading of 187. Okay. Wow, this thing really wants to climb. We're way higher than we should have been, like, descending further through 3,000 feet at this point. So there, can't even see the bridges. It didn't go quite the way I thought it was going to go, but that's okay. All right, there's our runway, folks, right there. Ooh. One. I kind of feel like I think I know why we're climbing. I think we got a tailwind. Out of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to only have a little bit of flap here. Try to. All right, so there's those bridges right there. So we know we're right where we need to be. Somebody's got a PTS-2. I don't know if it's like a helicopter or something. It's like they're right on the White House there. That's what it looks like. Yeah, we should have probably come in from the other way, but that's okay. We're going to get on the ground here, folks. So, yep, there's those three bridges. There's the Washington Monument. Lincoln Memorial. So there's our references. So we are going to cross over those bridges. starting to buffer again. Ooh. Yeah, it came in a little bit at an angle there. Well, there we are. On behalf of myself and the entire flight crew, we'd like to welcome you to Washington National Ronald Reagan Airport. Local time is 9:07 in the morning. We understand. Ooh, oh, no, don't take off again. We understand that you have lots of other things that you do on Mondays, but we're glad that you chose to fly with us for a little bit today. Come on, plane, slow down, slow down, slow down. Boy. I almost thought we were going to nose it. Yeah, that was not the best approach. Yeah, it does sometimes. Yeah, if it's too much, all right, let's turn that off first. So we don't have to listen to that, and then let's contact ground for our parking instructions. Yeah, that was a tough one. Yeah, we were coming with a tailwind. Yeah, that was. We should have come in from runway 1. I should have looked at it this morning and come up with a different plan. Because we would have passed over, we would have come around, and then landed there. We could have come right up the Potomac there, even more. And that's why you should always check the weather. Even if... Matter of fact, let's just see. We went to K... What was the K... KDCA. I'm guessing runway 1 would have been the preferred. Let's have a look here. Oops. KDCA. Runway... Nope. It's saying 19, 15, and 22. So we should have been in the headwind. But I think for whatever reason, it's like we were coming into it on we had a tailwind or something. I don't know. It's kind of weird. But that's all right. We're here. So yeah, do join us Wednesday, 7:10 Eastern, 11:10 UTC, 12:10 UK. We will be departing from Washington National Ronald Reagan Airport and heading to Wallops Flight Facility. Thursday I'm not sure what plane I'm going to fly yet, but we will do our first leg of the tour of Route 66. Hopefully we'll see how that goes. Yeah, it seemed like, because I want to see something, because they did say, right? I want to see real quick before we park. It did say something about our... Nope, 281 at 7. Okay, so we should have had a headwind, I think. Or no, it would have been a crosswind. If we landed on a 1... Yeah, it would have been almost a headwind. Huh. I don't know, it felt like we were at a tailwind. I don't know why. Oh well. We made it. Come on. All right, there we are. All right, let's go ahead and get all that turned off. All right, all of our lights are off. And let's go ahead and flip the battery switch. There we go. Thank you, Bex. Hour 47. Yeah, not too bad. Considering it was supposed to be like a 2.5 hour flight. All right, let me do this real quick while we're letting everything catch up. My airlines. Let me just at least get this started. JFK. We departed at 11:19 and arrived at 13:06. Oops. At KDCA. Yep, there we go. All right, at least I got that in. There we go. All right, folks, that's going to be it for today. Thank you all for coming in and hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed today's flight. We'll see you Wednesday morning. Normal time, normal channel, all that stuff, you know. Do enjoy the rest of your Monday morning, afternoon, evening, early Tuesday, possibly, depending on where you are in the world. I have been and always shall be your host and pilot, Uncle B. Until Wednesday, peace, live long and prosper.